Welcome to Altitude After Dark. It's DMac with Coach Mike Sanford, repping that Pac-12 school right there. Look at that. Look at that with Vic Lombardi as well. What's up, boys? What's a good word tonight?
How you doing? What are you going to do next year, Coach? 1 year in the Mountain West, knowing that you're going to go to the Pac-12. How's that year going to work? I mean, heck, the rest of this year, to be honest with you, that's got to be awkward.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a hard time containing myself. Going back to the Conference of Champions. Today is it's long overdue. It's a day that, your alma mater, Vic, just nobody wants them. I can't find a home, don't have a conference, and now where all the fancy, expensive real estate in this country is. Now Boise State just finds itself at home right there in the Pac-12. So it's going to be a lot of fun, Vic. I'm fired up.
I loved it when I heard a comment today from somebody saying they chose those four schools because of their stressful and sincere academic policies. I'm like, come on.
Oh.
Come on now. Coach. Coach. How stressful and academic was Boise State?
That was the toughest class you took at Boise State, brother.
Well, I was a political science major, but I learned today.
You are smart.
Yeah.
I learned today that I am not supposed to utilize my degree on air at Altitude Sports Radio. So that was good. It was a good lesson. And
well, listen, no, we're always open to conversation about the Federalist Papers, brother. If you want to go there, we can we can go back a little bit if you want, if you choose to do so. But we're more or less here to talk about football and sports and that sort of thing.
I thought we were here to talk about the dynamics of the War of 1812 and what it meant for the world and Europe as we know it.
Well, that was a bad boy. That was a banger, that war. I don't know if that made its way up to the Boise State Library. Coach, are you good with us? Can you hear us or not? Are you good?
I'm going to go backstage and fix my stuff.
All right, sounds good. I could tell Vic he was having problems. That was pretty good for lip reading, though, for Coach Mike Sanford there. Should I take Mike out? All right, there he goes. He's taking himself out. All right, Vic, Russ. Hey, do you want to talk about this Sean Payton story that's coming out here? I do have a couple thoughts on it, but whether you want to get into it or not, it's up to you.
Here's the problem I have with the story. The main source of the story is that dude that was fired by the Washington Commanders for being caught on tape saying some things that he shouldn't have said. So I don't like giving credence to stories until they're thoroughly vetted out. And I've got, you could talk about it if you like, but I'm just uncomfortable going there until I see and hear everything about this story because it's a pretty, it's a rocker. It's a shocker.
Yeah, well, listen, there were rumors and stories about Sean Payton and Vicodin pills and all sorts of stuff like 14 years ago. Like if you just want to Google search that, you're gonna find a plethora. It's not like some sort of secret or something, which predated Bountygate. So the concept of the story is that Bountygate was used to like cover up some sort of pill scandal. But the issues and the pills and all that with the Saints has been pretty well documented, Vic, over the years, frankly. And it was, 13 years ago, 14 years ago.
I knew nothing of it, to be honest with you. I didn't know anything about it until I read it today. Not a thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's Google it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's all sorts of stuff about it. So I'm just not even sure what's all that new unless you really just didn't know about anything before. So we can let that rest. No need to get into it that much. I don't know if it's that relevant. I don't know if it's that big of a deal.
I'd rather talk about how the Broncos how are they going to block JT Watt with a banged up offensive line?
That's a good question. Today it's Bowles was limited and Wattenberg was limited. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be rough. Here is VJ talking about that Pittsburgh defense.
Pittsburgh's formula to win is going to be running the football, right? Shorten games, play great defense. It's been what Coach Tomlin's done for the last 15 plus years, so that won't change on Sunday. They've always been a team that played with big people, multiple tight ends, fullbacks, and it's been a downhill power running game. I was in that division for 2 years and played them twice a year, and it's always that way. So it's going to be a dark, tough game on Sunday morning. It's not going to be fancy. It's going to be the tough team who's going to win. The team who takes care, of the ball is going to win. That's their formula to win. And it's everyone's formula to win. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be, rock'em sock'em tough football.
What did you do
from the defensive side? Joe Lombardi. Hey, but Vic, though, here's the good news. This is Joe Lombardi. This is how close the Broncos were to being good.
Just how bad we played, how much better we can play. It's not not what we saw in practice every day, not what we saw in the preseason. All the way around. And then, some guys were pushing too hard. We slipped a few times. We had a couple drops. There's just, it's always the loser's lament, but there's just a bunch of stuff that we saw that we don't think is indicative of who we are,
I think that's the big question, Vic. Who are they? Really? What do you think? Who do you think they really are?
I think they want to be a running team, but they were not that against Seattle. They became a pass-happy team. So let's see what they are Sunday, what they try to establish Sunday, if they don't panic into passing the ball because they're down by 3 or 7. So establish that run and make the play action work off that run. That's what they want to be. I think that's what they hope to be.
Yeah. Do you think they got away from it, or do you think it just wasn't in the game plan in the first place?
I think they got away from it. And who knows? I mean, listen, man, I've got a lot of theories on this season, and we all know what this season is. This season is to develop a young quarterback. So if you're Sean Payton, how do you microwave the development of a quarterback? Do you just ease him in there, or do you say, hey, throw him to the deep end, let him throw the ball as much as he can and learn on the fly, like Peyton Manning did? I mean, there's different ways to deal with this, and maybe that's what he's trying. Who knows?
Yeah. Listen, man, this is a brutal one, and it does get easier. And, the Bills are doing great in Miami right now. They're up 24-10 with about 9 minutes to go in the third. But going to Florida for the Broncos, Vic, throughout the years has been – in September has been rough, man. It just hasn't been great. And that's where they're off to after this game. And then they're staying over at the Greenbrier. You ever been in the Greenbrier in West Virginia?
No, I've heard wonderful things about it. They got a great golf course, obviously. They play a lot of events there, but it's where Sean Payton held his camp for New Orleans all those years. He loves it there.
Coach, are you in or are you out here? Can you hear us?
He looks half dead.
Should we, Coach, you want to say bye-bye? You want to say bye-bye? Bye-bye? Bye-bye. Can? Okay. We'll see you. See you, Coach. Vic, I don't change shit. I don't change anything. So if there's ever a problem, it's not my fault.
Well, hey, problem for Miami, their 4th turnover of the game, a pick 6 now, thrown by Tua. It's 30-10. He throws up his back foot as he's getting blitzed, and Buffalo's just dominating this game.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, he's just trying to get rid of it, and that's bad. Well, that's making it easy for Buffalo right there. Mm-hmm. Where are you with Bo Nix right now? And I got a bunch of stuff about Russ to come up here, but where are you with Bo Nix?
I think Bo Nix is going to be better. I do. I still need to see him throw the middle of the field. I still need to see those 20-yard patterns inside the middle of the field where NFL quarterbacks have to work if they want to be successful NFL quarterbacks. It can't be hitch patterns. It can't be slants. I like the back shoulder he threw, but I want to see him work the middle of the field a little bit in 3rd and long situations. Can he do that? Jury's still out. I've got to see it before I can believe it.
Well, here's Lombardi talking about. Now, when you hear Lombardi talk, it sounds like they like Bo and they liked what he was doing.
Yeah, I think it. There was one play in particular where I think we had a chance at a big play, and he just had the wrong footwork, so he was a little ahead of the throw, which caused it to look very inaccurate. So just couple little details like that. A couple throws that the 2 interceptions he kind of forced him in there. But there's the thing I liked the most is when we came in on Monday and watched the film, before anything said, like, he knew and he had answers for everything, and you could see that there's going to be growth from when he makes mistakes. So I would say that nobody on offense, including the coaches, had a great day on Sunday. So I think everyone getting a little bit better is
Yeah. So the question is, do you believe in him or not? I guess.
Yeah, I do. I think he will get better. I think he will develop, and I think he will learn from his mistakes. But he hit on something that, we had these questions coming into the season. Bo under center, because he was a shotgun quarterback in his college career, and that's what he's used to. So the play he's referring to under center, instead of taking a three-step drop, which he did, he should have taken a 5-step drop to allow the receiver to get into his route. Well, he didn't do that. So that comes with the learning curve of playing under center. You want to play under center because that will help your run game. That's why it's important. They're tied together. So how long will this development take to learn to play under center? He's new to this, brand new. It's going to take some time.
Yeah, I think so too. It's people are kind of quick to rush to judgment. And listen, man, what he was also saying is we saw things that went wrong for us in the regulars and the real games that we did not see. And that is true. Like we didn't see some of these mistakes or this inaccuracy. And I just wonder, Vic, like how quickly the game really does pick up. I'm guessing a lot, no matter how much you try to simulate it.
I mean, all the rookie quarterbacks struggled. The speed of the game is it's immense. You go from high school to college, it gets fast. You go from college to the NFL, it gets hyper speed fast because everybody on the field is the best athlete. So, he's going to learn. Those linebackers drop a lot quicker. The safety covering the outfield, they're going to cover a lot faster. Those are things, man. Speed of the game is an adjustment. That's why the preseason, the preseason is the preseason. He's playing against second stringers in the preseason.
Yeah.
It's not the equivalent of what you get in a highly intense regular season game. It never is.
You know what I love though is that's it. He's done it. It's done. Like it's over. He's had his first game. It's
under tough circumstances too, in a hostile stadium.
Correct, man. And okay, you got to go through things. I mean, I don't know. How was your first TV newscast, Vic? How'd it go? Your first one as a professional.
How about my first 100? They were terrible. I mean, you know how that works. They were awful. You go back and you look at them now and you're like, what the hell was that? But, I looked at a lot of film. I worked on my drops and I combed my hair a little more thoroughly and things got worked out.
Yeah, that's good. You got to work on the hair. I'll never forget, man, at Syracuse. I want to be, the Mr. Rock and Roll disc jockey, radio, not TV. And I wasn't really all that even interested in sports, man. I was going to be the next crazy shock jock FM morning show guy. That was the big goal back then. And so my college radio station was a top 40 station of all things. And I come from Boston, which is like a rock market with Aerosmith and that sort of thing. And I go to Syracuse, and their big influence was Z100, which is a big top 40 radio station. I didn't listen to that kind of shit. So my first shift ever to get on in Syracuse was an overnight shift during Thanksgiving weekend, where I'm introducing like Madonna records. No kidding. And they may have even been records back then. And I'll never forget doing like my first overnight shift, Vic. And I come back to listen to my little cassette tape. Like, how am I doing as this disc jockey? And I put it in. I'm like, I am fucking terrible. I mean, I was like, I couldn't
That's how it is, though, man.
How bad I was.
Bro, my first sportscast, I was 20 years old. I was a senior in college in Notre Dame, and I was working at a TV station in Elkhart, Indiana. It was Monday Night Football. The sportscaster on Monday nights convinced the news director to let me do the show because Monday Night Football, East Coast time, ended so late at the time. Right. I was on at like 11:30. So I said, let's give this kid some shots here.
That's awesome.
So my first show, I get there and I'm about to go on and I'm nervous as all get out. And they said, where's your makeup? I go, makeup? Yeah, you got to wear makeup. So I didn't have any makeup. So the weather girl let me use her makeup and it didn't match my skin color. And I remember my roommates in college going, dude, you were nuclear orange on television. That's what I remember.
All right. How disappointed are you that Russ isn't going to play in this game?
It does take away from the allure of, that theme would have led all stories this week. It would have been the talk of the NFL.
Yeah.
It would have given us fuel on every talk show, obviously.
Yeah.
So the fact he's not playing sort of sucks because we all wanted to see it. I asked this question to our boys this morning on Altitude Radio. Who do you think, and hate is a strong word, so I'll use the word, but, take it in check. Yeah. Who do you think hates whom more? Do you think Russ towards Sean Payton or Sean Payton toward Russ?
Well, let me play Sean Payton asked about Russ, and maybe we can judge that.
No. No, I mean, we're focused on, look, we're not playing tennis or golf. I mean, we're playing a team game, and we're focused on the Steelers, and they're a good football team.
In terms of beefing up,
I'm going to say Payton on Russ.
Well,
I'm going to say Payton on Russ.
I don't know, because, I mean, if you're Russ, you have to pick up your family, move across the country. You have to sell your house at a loss. And he took a bath on that sale, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of things he had to do, and he's still going to get paid. He's still obviously being paid by the Broncos to stand there on Sunday. But I think secretly the Broncos are ecstatic. They're happy that they don't have to deal with that distraction this week. They don't have to deal with it. It's another quarterback.
Okay.
Frankly, this other quarterback's probably going to give him more trouble because of his wheels. But I think the Broncos are very happy they don't have to face Russell Wilson.
Oh, that's interesting. Because of the potential that he would embarrass them?
No, it's almost like a no-win situation. I mean, if he plays well, you look bad. If he doesn't play well, you win the game, and I guess you come out looking like roses. But it's just one of those things. The prospect of losing to a Russell Wilson-led Steelers team, imagine how humbling that would be to this staff.
Yeah, and it was rough last year against the Jets. They kind of went through it, right? After ripping on Hackett. That was rough. That being said, though, I don't think they really believed in Russ. And I think, hey, listen, man, I think Sean Payton has a certain amount of confidence / arrogance that would probably like an I told you so if he could, sort of prove to everybody that this guy really stunk. And, this is why we moved on from him. So I that's a good question, man. Do you want the, hey, man, I told you so moment? Or, oh, good, we can avoid the kind of embarrassment thing. I think confidence kind of comes with the I told you so stuff. But
had he played and he trots onto the field for that first series, how do you think the fans in Denver would have reacted?
I think they would boo the shit out of him. I think I think they felt maybe irrationally, perhaps, that they were owed more for what the Broncos gave up for him. And I think they blame him for that. And I think Russell Wilson has been painted as a villain for the quarterback coach and the office and all the privileges that he was shown.
Do you think they'll show him on the big board at any point during the game, even if he doesn't play?
There's no real reason to. We're not playing tribute videos like it's Bruce Brown coming back, right? Or we're not doing that on the. Are we doing that on the scoreboard?
What would you show in a tribute video?
You would show the win against the Chiefs,
the win against Buffalo last year,
the comeback against Chicago, the
throw to Cortland Sutton in Buffalo. What was I thought his greatest achievement as a Broncos quarterback?
How about his throw across his body to Jerry Jeudy for like 40 yards before halftime before that one game? I don't know, man. It's a minute video. I mean, I think they could find highlights of you in high school, Vic, for a minute to put up on a scoreboard to make you look good. To get to your men's rec basketball game. Probably dropped a couple dimes over the course of the 2 hours.
We should ask the Broncos if they plan on anything of that nature.
I
highly doubt it. I highly doubt it.
I know exactly. I can easily do that. I know actually who's kind of oversees that. It's a buddy of mine. So I'll try to trace that down. Hey, listen, man. It's very common in basketball and hockey. Okay, we've seen it a million times for ex-Avs, ex-Nuggets guys. Give me the ex-Bronco guy that got a video tribute. I don't recall. I'm not saying there haven't been. I just don't recall any.
That's a great question. I'm wondering did Bill Romanowski ever get one when he showed up as a Raider?
I doubt it. Did Vaughn come back here? No, I don't think so. I don't think Vaughn has.
I don't think he has. Here. No. He played there last year, or did even play in that game, but no, they haven't faced off against Vaughn. First of all, it's got to be a marquee player who's meant a lot to the team for a long time. Like, Steve Atwater meant a ton to the Broncos, and then he was up in let go and signed with the Jets. Did he come back as a Jet to play the Broncos?
I don't
recall,
remember.
but I don't recall any videos of any Bronco players at that stadium.
Well, I'll give you guys who would get, if Demaryius Thomas came back, I don't think he did though, right? He was with the Texans, wasn't he? Is that where DT went?
Yeah.
Jeez, man, there aren't many, man. It just doesn't happen, I guess, that often. You know it's going to happen every year in basketball, right? And hockey. Sure. I mean, it's bound to happen.
Well, there's more trades in those sports, so.
Well, I can look at the comments here, man. Maybe somebody even has some ideas. Demaryius, did Chris Harris get one? He must have come back with the Chargers.
Chargers, yeah.
Right?
I mean, I don't remember any videos for him. You're right, nothing for him. No. Did Aqib Talib get one when he moved on? I mean,
there's no way.
It doesn't happen in football. It just doesn't happen. You do all that stuff when guys retire and you welcome them back to your city, but not when they're still playing, not in the sport of football.
Let's talk about Russ a little bit. Here's Russ, though, with his recollection of all of his friends.
Into Denver.
I have a lot of amazing friends from there. I think about guys like Cortland Sutton, Jaleel McLaughlin. I think about guys like, obviously Garrett Bowles, a guy like Ray Jackson, guys like Javonte Williams, different people that I've played with that I really respect. There's so many guys, Dolchich, and just so many other guys along the way, Quinn Miners, DJ Jones,
It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
I heard a lot of that press conference today.
Yeah.
When questions were asked, I found myself thinking in my brain, I know exactly what the answer is going to be. Not only do I know what the answer is going to be, I know the tone, I know the words, I know the buzzwords that he will use.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny how that script is still playing out, right? Everything that the Seattle folks told us when he came here, it's the same script that he's using in Pittsburgh. He never says anything that is at all controversial. And, he was asked today about how important is this game? He goes, it's important because it's the next game. How many times did we hear that last
all the
year,
time, right? All the time. And it's kind of like that, what we've heard. If everything is everything, then everything is nothing. Like if this is the big game because it's the next game, then what? There's nothing special about being in Denver.
Yeah,
maybe that actually is the case. Maybe there really wasn't anything special about it, frankly. And maybe everything was just some sort of big show for Russell Wilson with the house and the videos and all that sort of stuff. But I think Russ will go down as one of the more disliked ex-Denver athletes of all time. You? Where are you on that?
Disliked is a strong word. I think he only played 2 seasons. It obviously didn't work out. I think fans are flustered because of the money that's attached to his contract that they're paying when he leaves. It's not like Nolan Arenado. Nolan Arenado, it cost the Rockies a ton of money for him to leave, but he produced when he was here. He produced at a high level. He led his team to the playoffs. He did things. I mean, hell, we remember people wait to the ball game just to watch Nolan Arenado. Different deal. Russell Wilson didn't produce like Nolan Arenado did.
All right. Well, that's a good one because it's not like Russell forced his way out. He didn't force his way out. I believe he wanted to stay here. I don't think he was looking to leave. Sean Payton couldn't stand him. He had to get him out of there. Okay, fine. Carmelo forced his way out, right?
Sure.
Cutler forced his way out.
Matt Duchene wanted out.
Exactly. Maybe to a lesser degree, Ryan O'Reilly forced his way out.
Sure.
Do those athletes, are they more despised because of that? Does Russ get a little, for example, if Tim Tebow ever came back, I think Tim Tebow would get a standing ovation. If he came back shortly after he was playing.
It depends on the player and the circumstances. Somebody in the comments mentioned this, and I believe I remember when Peyton Manning returned to Indy as a Bronco and represented the Broncos in Indy. They not only did a video, I remember they did this big presentation. They honored him.
Yep.
And the fans gave him a standing ovation. So that was a special moment for him. And those are rare. I mean, those don't happen too often in football where you go to your old team, your old place, and they stand up and cheer you. Usually,
do you remember how he played in that? Do you remember how he played in that game?
Is that the game? Is that the game where Andrew Luck got beaten to a bloody pulp? Remember, and he got hit so hard he ruptured his spleen, from what I remember.
Was that game?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
I don't remember that either, but I just remember it was a very emotional thing for Peyton. The tribute was unbelievable. And he and the team played lousy in Indy and they lost. So I do remember that. In fact, Peyton played the Colts a couple of times and it never, went all that well. I think the emotions were, I don't know if that was the spleen game with Andrew Luck. Hey, just really quick on that note. I don't know if you got an eyeball on it, but Tua Tagovailoa just got his bell rung and he has left the game. And Tommy Thompson is now, I think it's Tommy Thompson, is playing quarterback for the Dolphins. And we know what Tua's concussion history has been like. And it definitely was like a hit to the head concussion sort of thing. So
that's a bad deal because he had that one season. He couldn't even complete the season because it was so bad. You hate to see it happen in week 2.
I agree.
He has not played well in this game. So you wonder if it has just, hey, you're not playing well. We're getting our butts kicked. For precautionary reasons, let's pull you out. But if it's a close game, is he still in the game? I don't think so.
I saw a replay of the hit. I think it's Skylar Thompson, not Tommy Thompson. Yeah. Skylar Thompson. Hey, man, we're seeing a couple injuries here. How long do you think we're going to keep 3 quarterbacks on the 53 there, Vic?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about injuries in the NFL. It's remarkable to me how many injuries occurred during week 1. Between week 1 and week 2, you look at every NFL team and the amount of injuries that affects each team. Because, again, you go from the preseason where you're sort of half-assing it and you're playing a lot of subs to your first real game. These guys are not used to going 100% for an entire game. And this is where the bulk of injuries occur between week 1 and week 2. The Broncos are banged up. Hell, I'm reading about the Seahawks and their running backs banged up. Guys are banged up all over the league between week 1 and week 2.
Do you think there's any way to prevent that, though, Vic? They're never going to go all out in training camp, ever. It's going to get even less. It's going to go less and less and less.
Of course, because you don't want that to happen before the regular season. I mean, You want them fully capable of playing football when they count most, so.
All right, I got one last thing for you before we split. We appreciate everybody paying attention, but Coach is going to give it another shot. Hang on here.
I'm back.
Dude, we're almost done with the show.
No, I was grinding, man. I had to hit my audio tech guy, man, out in Boise, Idaho, that set me up with all this podcast equipment.
All right. Well, it was your fault though, right? It's on you.
Yeah, I had to bring all my equipment to the studio to Altitude today to do that little hit with the Pac-12 network in release of the Boise State and Colorado State and the whole news. So anyway,
Vic, do you realize what's happening with Mike Sanford? Do you realize what's going on with this guy?
Yeah, he's like a media whore now.
It's ridiculous.
Just pours himself out to everybody and anybody who calls. He's not our little coach anymore. He belongs to the world.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, and then, hey, I like it. Like we had a little staff meeting today that I was personally ridiculed for by my coach. I should be.
Yeah.
All right. I was in there sitting, taking notes like you with a notebook and a pen.
Yeah.
But,
I noticed Coach taking notes and I'm sitting there going, what should I be like? I felt bad. I felt like an idiot.
Did too.
Should I be writing something down here?
I was looking over at we'll call him 41-year-old Vic Lombardi with his fidget spinner during the meeting.
I was counting down the minutes for the damn meeting to end, bro.
I know that those are because I have a wife and a son with ADHD, right? And so I know it helps you a lot, or I'll say the general you, but it actually gave me a whole bunch of noise to deal with and it was tough, man. It was like in curing your ADHD, you created my ADHD, which was horrible.
Well, listen, I was about to get into some foolishness, but if you want to chime in quickly about Russell Wilson, Coach, you weren't really. I don't know how aware of everything you were last year around this time.
Yeah, pretty damn aware. I was on the air. I started last year about September, October. So,
all right.
I was filling in, and still am. That's why I'm hoarding myself out, boys. I mean, I got to do what I got to do.
There was something funny today in the meeting too. Like, I don't have. You were like, I don't have something, and I'm like, yeah, Mike doesn't even have like a key card to get into the building yet.
Card, no email address.
Oh, that was an email. Right. You were on some sort of email.
And they're like, excuse me, sir, can I get back on those emails, please?
Right. Can I get on the emails?
Well, that's because Sanford's email still says mikesanford.cu.edu. So I'm not sure if it's in the system.
Hey, you're joking, but it is still Buff related, his email. It's still, there's a connection there. So not to ratchet out there.
It's actually BSU, as in Boise State University.
Football.
Okay. Class of 05. Okay.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah. All right.
I've had that email address for 20 years. People think it's like one of those secret passwords that you'd use when you're logging into your bank account or something.
All right.
Well, DMac still has the AOL.com, which is hilarious to me.
You've got mail.
I've got mail.
Yes,
I got my story is when AOL came out in the mid 90s or whatever, I got a free account for 97 Rock in Buffalo, and I've kept it ever since, brother.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, it was like I'm following Jim Kelly in his final Super Bowl, and I just got AOL for free for the radio station. that was me. That was my first year in Buffalo.
All right, so Russell Wilson coming back. There's no chance he plays, right? He didn't practice again today. He wasn't full. He's not playing, right? We know that.
Right. That's right.
But he's going to be decked out. He's going to be coaching his tail off on the sideline. He's going to be he's going to probably warm up multiple times during the game.
Eye black. He'll have the eye black on.
He will. He might even go like double pane eye black. I mean, he might even just double it up. I'm just excited for tomorrow's show at 10 to noon. We have our guy Nelly, who you stole, Vic, of course, from 10 to noon. Anybody who does anything good, clearly I don't, get stolen by the morning show. But he had a soundtrack to any Russ audio clip. And if you heard Russ's clip today, he went about naming just about every Broncos player that were a good friend of his. I don't know if you guys listened to it already.
We played it.
Mike, it's right.
I have a lot of amazing friends from there. I think about guys like Cortland Sutton, Jaleel McLaughlin. I think about guys like, obviously Garrett Bowles.
He already played it, but he goes on and on and on.
Yeah, and it's so funny because you can tell the hits have been accumulating because he forgot a few, and then he's like, "Oh, there's so many. There's just so many." Tim Patrick. Oh wait, he's not there. It's not
anymore. Justin Simmons is a good. Oh, wait a second. Hold on a second. No, not him. I was wondering when he was listing it off, how many of these guys really are friends with Russ?
I mean, what was the first guy out of his mouth though?
Sutton and Bowles, baby. Oh yeah, they're friends. Yeah. I believe that.
Oh yeah, and I think after week one, I think Cortland Sutton's missing his boy a little bit because not only
really.
Oh yeah, and it's not because Bo didn't target him. Hell, he targeted him 12 times in the game against Seattle. But I think he misses him because of the second play. That's where Cortland got so many of his chunk yards down the field. Cortland Sutton hasn't had a lot of success as an on-schedule receiver in the last couple of years. He's a second play receiver and a red zone scramble, uncovers himself because there is eye issues with defensive backs, and he has a great feel for it. I do think Bo Nix can be a very good second play quarterback. I think he's trying his ass off, and I've been around quarterbacks like this, that he's trying his ass off to execute the exactness of Sean Payton's offense, maybe almost inhibiting the offense from being able to matriculate the ball.
Can you define second play?
Yeah, so in the West Coast offense that Sean Payton runs, right? And I came up in the same system, different derivatives of it. But I David Shaw, Jim Harbaugh, who were under Bill Walsh and John Gruden, those kind of guys. It's everything is predicated on the drop of the quarterback in the pass game. It correlates exactly to exactness of the footwork, how many steps this slant is, how many steps this outcut is. So, for example, like a base outcut, not the quick out, like the 10 to 12 yard outcut, it's 6 total steps for the receiver, and it is a under center timing 5-step drop, ball out, no hitches. Now, if there's something, so if you have a read, your footwork is tied into your number one receiver is off this timing. Oh, he's not open. You go to number 2 and you reset your camera, reset your feet exactly. So it's like choreography on a dance class, right? But the second play is when all that crap doesn't work, right? It's like, yeah, all that didn't work. Nobody's open. I got a rusher in my face, and I got to get the hell out of the pocket, right? And it might be right, it might be left. At that point in time, those routes, if the receivers can see the quarterback break contain, you immediately enact scramble rules. And scramble rules are essentially the play that also is scripted. And so it depends on where you're at on the field. So, for example, if you're running back in the flat and you're about to go out of bounds, you don't just keep running out of bounds. You actually run up the sideline, and your scramble rule is to run up the sideline 5 steps and then break like a comeback over your outside shoulder right on the sideline. And so I thought Courtland Sutton was so good because he's a big body. He has great like feel for the field and the open spaces. And Russell and him, man, were in sync on that second play. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, very much. That's what I thought. I just wanted you to define it properly.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good setup for Shannon Sharpe having sex. Let's go to his explanation.
It was me being a healthy, active male. I mean, y'all thought I was bull jiving. Hey, I'll get it in. Real talk. Hey, yo.
Okay, guys.
All
Want
right.
to chime in on this one? I got a lot of people that are raising an eyebrow to the whole thing. Where are you guys on your tinfoil cap sort of level with Shannon Sharpe and this whole thing?
Is this his way to get a multi-year deal with Hims.com of some sort? One of those pill-related companies. Is this his way to say, hey, man, I'm a 50-something dude. Still get it in his words, give me a marketing deal.
Yep.
Could be. I wouldn't be surprised if I see him market some of those products soon.
Yeah, one of the most offensive follows in social media history is Antonio Brown, AB84. I don't know if you guys have
turning out to be. Yeah, I'm watching.
That's whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Dude.
He is free speech incarnate, right?
Yeah.
Exercising that right. He has multiple times called out the sexuality of Shannon Sharpe on the platform. Maybe, just maybe, Shannon Sharpe, without having any visuals,
There you go.
made it very clear that at least on some nights, he likes the traditional roles.
All
in-
right.
in the bed.
Okay. And on that note, we probably wish you a fun. Hey, Mike, me and Vic did a hell of a show. You just weren't around for it. I mean, we we're doing some extra time just because we feel bad for you, but we killed it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure you did. You got me out of here. That's probably a big win.
Yeah.
Coach, I just want to warn you. I know you have some technical issues and you're not technically profound or any of that. Be careful accidentally turning on your IG live when you go to bed tonight. Happens all the time, apparently.
Hey, you know what? It would show that there's marital bliss in the Sanford household.
On that note, we'll be back on Sunday for Altitude After Dark. That is that is the name of the show, amazingly. So I guess this fits right in. Vic, we'll listen to you in the morning. Mike, actually, I won't see you. We're at Joe Willie's on Broadway. Vic does commercials for them. Yeah.
Say hello to those boys, man. That's a great place.
And tomorrow night, got my third call of the season.
Oh,
we got a little Fairview High School hosting the Boulder High Panthers.
Nice. At Boulder High?
Yeah, at Fairview. And Bill McCartney's son, Tom McCartney, 33rd year as the head football.
Been there a
coach.
long time.
Great man. A great
All
man.
right, man. We'll see you. CSU pick real quick. Give it to me before we head out the door. Last chance that we all three have to do this.
I'm 50-50. I think it could go either way. I think CU is the better team, but it's a rivalry game, and the better team doesn't always win. And I think it's must win. We've all said that this week.
Yeah.
You have to win this game. If CU does not win this game, my God.
Real quick, if CU doesn't win this game, should Travis Hunter shut it down for the year?
No. I think that would actually hurt his, maybe a couple spots in the draft.
No, I mean, what are we doing here? If he's trying to shut it down in week 3, what's the point?
Yeah, that's a real problem. That's never been done in the history of. I'll say this to Vic's point. I think CU is the hardest team in America to predict games for, because they might hit 7 explosive passes for 300 yards and win by 21 and score 42, or that the same ugly movie with sacks and no run game. If that starts happening and there's turnovers, then CSU can win. I really don't know. Like, I would never put my money on CU ever.
Vic, what community college is Notre Dame losing to this weekend?
With that, we say goodbye, guys. Have a great show, great night. I will bid adieu.
Rally Sons of Notre Dame, baby.
We'll see you later. Bye.